Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to actually trade the fakeouts of support and resistance levels. So before we get into the charts and show you the actual examples, let me just cover a few points on the slide. So support and resistance, as most of you know, is just an area where price reacts from time to time. It is a general area, not just a line. Okay, so you don't really need to focus just on one specific price level. It's usually just an area, a range that we focus on, where price usually just reacts from time and time again. The usual time frames that I look for these levels are mainly the M30 and the M15 time frame. You can go higher, of course, and obviously they work on every single time frame. But for intraday trading or scalping, I found the M30 and 15 quite helpful to me. And the most important thing is when you want to trade the support and resistance level, you have to be really careful and usually just wait for a sweep of the resistance highs or the support lows before actually taking a trade. And trust me, if you follow this rule, this will keep you out of many unnecessary losses, as I've had them quite often in the past. So let's get to the charts and show you guys some examples. So I've had a few examples here marked up. So as you can see here in the pre-market, we had this resistance. You can see highs over here, highs over here, highs over here. And then the market opens on this exact candle. Let me just mark the candle where the market opens. This is where the market opens. And as you can see, we have all these highs, and then the highest high of this resistance was this little wick right here, as you can see, right before the market opens. That's literally the last M15 candle of the pre-market. And then this is actually a trade that I took. I took this short. And as you can see, I was just waiting for price to sweep this high, right, which is the highest high. So sweep this high of this resistance before actually taking a short trade. And then if you go down on a lower time frame, let's just go back to this area right here. We can see what happens here. Okay, so you can see right here that the price manipulated this high, okay, manipulated the resistance high, had already quite a reaction of it, then came back, made the M5 double top, which is one of my main entries. And as soon as sellers step in, which I obviously use the order flow tool like Bookmap, so as soon as sellers step in, I'm able to take a trade short, stop loss just above this, 3 points, and then just target the next area for me where I consider price might be reversing from. So I actually took this trade, and this was just a clean setup of manipulating, well, sweeping the highs of the resistance of the pre-market as well, then just wait for my entry pattern, which was M5 double top, and then just enter according to the Bookmap, according to the order flow, and then just target the next area of support or demand, which was this whole area. And this is a nice and quick, almost 3.5 hour trade. Okay, so it's really important to not jump the gun and enter too early, because this will happen more often than not. Many times before in the past, I have tried to enter too quickly over here, and then price would just stop me out and then do the actual move. Okay, so I don't want that to happen anymore. So usually if we see a very tight range of resistance or support, there's a very big chance that price will just manipulate, either the high or the lows of that range. Now I'm going to show you another example right here. I'm going to stay on the 5-minute. And as you can see, we had these lows here, and then in this trading session we made more lows. So we had this support level right here. Okay, and then the next day comes, massive sell-off. And what does price do? Look at that. It manipulates, it sweeps the low of the support level. Okay, and then flies from there. Okay, so before I would be entering already before this sweep actually happens, I would be entering somewhere here, obviously on a lower time frame, if I don't see anything on the 5-minute, and then I would get just stopped out, and then it would just wick me out, and then price would just shoot up. Okay, so here for example, you have another entry criteria that I use. So price comes in, sweeps these lows, which is exactly what I want to see. Then I just wait for my entry confirmation, which could be a M5 double bottom, or also this candlestick is something I really like. It is a bullish liquidity wick, basically what I call it. It's a bullish candle after a previous bullish candle that swept this low and ended up bullish as well. Okay, so this for me is a valid confirmation to enter the trade. Obviously I would still use tools like the Bookmap to enter. I would just enter right here with my stop loss, well, around 4 or 5 points, and then I would just target, well, whatever I want to target, right? It could be these highs, it could be over here. That really depends what I'm looking for in the market and how the market conditions are, if it's really balanced, if it's slow, if it's lacking volume or volatility. So this is just another beautiful example of waiting for a manipulation of this tight range. As you can see, we're in this very small balanced range, and it just manipulates the highs and manipulates the lows. Okay, so this is just a very, very clean example on both sides for a resistance or a support, where it's really important to wait for these highs and these lows to get swept before actually trading. Yes, of course, there are scenarios where you can just trade once it comes into the support or the resistance, but you'll see more often than not, if you actually are patient for your entry confirmations, which I usually am because I use the 5 minute quite a lot actually for my entries, then usually I don't even see an entry confirmation before the sweep actually happens. And obviously before I was using the M1 a lot more for entries, so I would find entries a little bit higher over here, and then I would just get stopped out, and then maybe I would have one or two losses already before the actual move happens, and then I wouldn't want to risk anymore for another trade because I didn't want to lose again, right? So switching for me to the M5 for most of my entries was a very profitable thing for me to do because I don't really see anything usually before the actual manipulation happens. And yes, this means once in a while I might miss a setup, okay, but I'm totally fine with that. I'd rather miss a setup than take unnecessary losses. And I know once my entry confirmation is there, like this candle for example, or this M5 double top over here, then I usually know that the move has a higher probability of working out. Okay, so keep that in mind once you're looking at support and resistance levels and when you want to trade them. Just don't try to jump the gun too much. Be patient, wait for those highs to get swept, and even with a tick or two or with a point is more than enough. It gets swept, okay? That just means it gets manipulated, it gets swept, and then it's valid to look for entries, okay? So keep that in mind when you're looking at those levels and when you're looking to trade them. So anyways, I hope you guys find this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.